I was subjected to sexual abuse frequently. It was multiple instances during my last year of high school.
Hey guys, here in a nutshell with me, Ina. Alam nyo ba na ang buwan ng May is Canada's Sexual Violence Awareness Month. Okay, so for this episode, yan po ang tatalakayin natin because we will be talking to a mental health advocate. Okay, Pilipina po who, pushes people to seek help in case they're going through difficult times. In her case, lalo na po yung mga may experience ng sexual abuse. Naku, marami po kayong pupuntahan para makakuha ng tulong sa bagay po na yan. Okay, ipapasok ko na po siya. Siya po ay si Giselle General. Sabi ko nga general, dito daw it's general, no, Giselle?
Hello, and yes, yun na kasi ang mas madaling i-pronounce sa mga Canadians, and that is fine with me. It is an English word, so ayos lang, relatable daw.
Yan. Okay, so thank you again, Giselle. Si Giselle actually nag-inform sa akin that May is Sexual Violence Awareness Month pala here in Canada. So very timely ang ating episode today. Thank you, Giselle. I said, you are an advocate for mental health. How did you become this? Why do you like, informing people about the importance of keeping a healthy mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So just really quickly po yung coming to Canada story ko. I was born and raised in the Benguet region, and I moved to Canada as a teenager when I was 16 and then settled in Edmonton from 2008. So lahat ng mga milestones na mga kabataan, kumbaga, university, starting the career, getting married, settling in, nangyari po lahat dito sa Edmonton. Kinatapos ko po na university degree is Bachelor of Commerce, pero yung passion ko talaga is helping people. So yung simula ng career ko po is in a non-profit to help people who cannot afford the services that they need. So ganun yung pinagtrabahuan ko dati sa legal-oriented NGO. And doon ko po talagang nalaman yung complexities ng social issues in our community, right? So even though yung tulong na binibigay namin sa mga tao is free lawyer appointments, tuwing nakakausap namin yung mga clients, it's really more complicated than that, right? They're subjected in, may mga abuse sa bahay or conflicts sa work or yung landlord nila or yung trauma ng immigration, mga ganyan-ganyan. It really affects how we function in our everyday lives. So even let's pick a simple example po na if we're advising someone to file for divorce, pero pag naaabuso sila sa bahay, ang hirap na i-pursue yung divorce kasi baka masaktan sila lalo or something like that. Or let's say custody arrangement ng mga bata, and yung other party, yung other parent, nag-i-insist ng 50-50, tapos na-i-reveal na inaabuso yung mga bata. So paano yun i-navigate ng courts? So that's what started expanding my knowledge about social issues and mental health and things like that. Tapos, back in 2016, I'm sure naalala ng karamihan sa atin, Donald Trump got elected as the president of the United States. And at the time, he had many very problematic commentary about sexual abuse survivors. So it's up to you, Ina, if you wanna bleep it out, but it's good to know the actual phrasing. Yung sinabi niya, grab women by the pussy, it doesn't matter, mga ganyan-ganyan. For me, na-bring back yung awful memories ko ng teenager ko.
All
so
right.
That's basically, that's what really, really prompted it na, like, even in the Philippines, in my teenager years, I experienced sexual abuse.
All right.
Tapos binanggit ko sa boss ko, and then doon siya nag-recommend, go to this place for supports. And then when I ended up getting free therapy, doon ko talaga, lalo pa in a more deep way, na realize that this is important. And sometimes the best way to share and advocate is to be a testimony, right? This is how I experienced it. This is what happened to me. Ganun yung nangyari.
Okay, just let me break it down a little bit. What you mentioned basically, na expose si Giselle, you learned about the lack of information about, mental health support doon sa job mo na humihingi ng legal advice ang mga taong with different problems. And then you realize na hindi lang legal advice ang kailangan ng mga taong to eh. Because, all these problems at home, sexual abuse victims, most important yung nakaka-apekto sa mental health nila. And you figured na dahil nga meron din po siyang personal experience back in the Philippines sa pag-uusapan din po natin dito. Kumbaga nakarelate ka ng husto and now you really are advocating for mental health, ano?
That's right, yeah.
O sige, can you, I asked Giselle, okay, baka dun sa mga magsasabi na it's too sensitive a topic, we agreed to talk about this. You have experience as a child, or a teenager rather, before coming to Canada. Can you share with us what you can about your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really complicated, right? Like, even though I've been to therapy, syempre, I'm still affected by it. Pero I can cope better now. And that's the benefit of going to therapy and getting supports, right? You can't undo what happened, but you learn how to heal from it, or it doesn't affect your life as badly in the present moment. But long story short, I was subjected to sexual abuse frequently, actually, and that's the unfortunate part. It was multiple instances during my last year of high school, and it's basically what we consider in the Philippines as child molestation. Kumbaga, diba? Like it happened in the home, it happened with a relative. Maraming, I'm sure maraming naka-experience ng ganyan.
Yes.
So, parang ganun yung nangyari, and late, and this is my 4th year of high school, which is very high pressure at the time kasi I was processing my paperwork to come to Canada. I was vying for the valedictorian position kasi my benefits yun po, diba? So my 4th year high school was really, really stressful for many, many reasons. And what ended up happening is, hindi ko siya na-report like officially sa police or whatever, because even at the time, na internalized na, I think, sa culture natin na pag mga ganyan, it's not worth it, diba? Like, sino bang tutulong or whatever. I did not have that faith in the justice system back then. Pero I will be forever grateful to my high school teacher na nakapag-confide ako. Sabi ko sa teacher ko, like, don't call the police or whatever. It really helped me feel a slight sense of relief. Like, pinaniwalaan niya ako, hindi niya kinwestiyon yung kinuwento ko sa kanya. Eventually, na-found out din ng mga relatives, but I realized at the time, medyo complicated yung family situation ko kasi kami ng kapatid ko, uli lang lubos kami, and this relative of mine, my parents siya, and usually, I understand yung reaction ng tita-tito ko, diba? Like, sometimes no matter what your children have done, you will defend your kids. Pero in this case, medyo unbalanced talaga yung support. Like, perhaps my cousin needed support and help to address that. But as the receiver of the abuse, I needed more than what I have gotten.
Yeah.
Pero na-realize ko na wala eh. So I suppose the timing had worked out because a few months later, my visa to Canada got approved. So yung physical distance, I think that helped a little bit with me moving forward until I went to therapy almost a decade after coming to Canada.
Oh my gosh. O sige, we'll talk about you seeking help finally here in Canada. Pero lungkot yung situation before especially because it involved family. And as you mentioned, even if nalaman na nung iba ninyong relatives, you didn't feel like you got the support. And it was even more difficult for you because sabi nga po ni Giselle, wala na po parehong parents niya. Sadly, both her parents passed away in a bus accident when she was 80 years old, ano? So
That's
were
right.
those, yung parang lahat nung circumstances na yun, parang for you, it worked against you in trying to get help. Tama ba?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that kasi I was living in a rural part of the Philippines also, right? And it's not like I'm living in Manila or Cebu na maganda ang access sa mga sophisticated na medical system facilities and stuff like that. And on top of that, I would say in some ways parang entrepreneurial slash working class yung relatives namin. Yung may sari-sari store kami, so nakaka-survive pero hindi naman mayaman. And mayroong, what you can say, yung, I'm sure you understand with the Filipino culture na pagdating sa medical needs, like, hindi ka pupunta sa doctor or dentist or whatever hanggang talagang malubha na yung situation, di ba? Kung, if it's just like a minor thing na maybe it bothers you every now and then, parang itutulog mo na lang or idadasal mo na lang or something like that. And at the time, I had another cousin with more extreme mental health challenges. So siya yung, napapansin ko, siya yung talagang either pinupunta sa hospital or albularyo or both. So mas naging reluctant ako na mag-ask ng help. At saka marami din mga priorities. Like I mentioned, yung as being orphans, like syempre may tulong din ng relatives, pero talagang I needed to take care of myself with most of the needs I have, pati yung kapatid ko. Ako yung talagang inaasahan niya. So all of those different factors really made me internalize na walang tulong na available or kung meron man kukulangin. And that's what I thought back then.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm wondering, how did the parents of your cousin reacted when they found out what was happening?
It's really interesting how trauma works kasi I vaguely remember yung memories nung parang final confrontation ko ba, yung kumbaga yung heart-to-heart talk na ganito ba ang nangyayari, ganyan. And what I remember from that particular family meeting, kumbaga, yung uncle ko na legal guardian ko, tsaka yung tita ko nandoon, and then pati yung tita and tito ng parents ng relative, who's doing the things. Pero siya wala. So I think they already have an understanding that, of course, like, sexual abuse is wrong, which is good. It would be good for them to know. But what they ended up deciding as a course of action is just to separate the two of us, which is a good thing, by the way, because he has, for lack of a better word, unrestricted access to me. But at the time, they're like, we need to make sure that these two kids are not in the same house, in the same building, in the same room together. So at least they know. And for me, syempre, I'm very relieved because I felt very violated for quite some time, and that acknowledgement is like, okay, malalayo na siya sa akin. That's good. However, after that, guess long story short, he had an actual mental breakdown. So siya ang na-confine, siya yung nagkaroon ng appointment with a psychiatrist, and maybe he needed it. Pero because his reaction was so extreme, ako yung medyo na-ignore. Nandun naman na siya sa Baguio wala naman na siya dito sa Pangasinan. So we can focus on him instead.
Can I ask how old yung iyong pinsan at that time?
18.
I don't wanna, insist on more details. That's more than enough what you shared. Thank you. So you mentioned soon after na-reveal lahat ng yan, your visa to Canada was approved. How did you get pala to Canada? What was your pathway or process na pinagdaanan?
Absolutely. So my pathway to Canada is family class for orphans. So usually, and this is back in the 2000s, na normally mga anak direct na anak or whatever ang may sponsor ng mga adults, with the exemption of orphan children. So my mom has two sisters who were already living in Canada at the time. So yung older na tita ko na pumunta sa Canada ng mas maaga, siya yung nag-sponsor sa akin. Ako po yung inuna kasi ako yung mas matanda. And then, nung nag-settle na ako dito, and then I moved to Edmonton with the other tita, yung other sister ng mom ko. Nag-teamwork kami para ma-sponsor yung kapatid ko shortly after.
Okay. So you left the Philippines. Of course, you had that trauma. It's not like pag alis mo ng Pilipinas, nandito ko sa Canada na magandang tanawin mo, you'd forget about something like that. And it took you 10 years to get help. So during those first 10 years, how were you feeling about it?
So the area where it really affected me was my dating life. Kasi it really gave me a lot of complicated and conflicting thoughts. Kasi, diba, there is premium, kumbaga, di ba, pag virgin ka, you know, you might be more desirable and whatever. And there's a lot of talk here in the Western part of the world about losing your virginity as an accomplishment or like, you know, coming of age experience. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to answer that question because
Yeah.
so that was a bit tricky. And then the gentleman I ended up dating, including my current husband, he's Canadian. Yeah, like your physical intimacy is really difficult, right?
Okay.
Kasi, you know, how can I strike that balance between, you know, showing my physical affection towards people, but also processing how I'm reacting inside because all I've had, especially with sex and intimacy, is very negative. Si husband nasa living room, and I will be forever grateful to him kasi even 2 years after we started dating, we were about to go to the Philippines for the first time for our vacation together. I've hinted at it before na I had some history with sexual abuse history and whatnot. And he's like, I'm coming with you to the Philippines. I really need to know so I can protect you. So ni-reveal ko lahat sa kanya. And then he is the first person who told me like, did you know in Canada, that is called sexual assault? And did you know that in the Criminal Code of Canada, this is what it says? And, you know, like, and this is very wrong. Like he is, I suppose, next to my teacher, he is the second person in my life who truly validated na ang nangyari sa akin, masama yun, mali yun, nakakasakit yun. It's very dangerous, harmful, traumatic. And talagang naghanda siya, you know, because the perpetrator is still alive and I would see him in family gatherings when we visited the Philippines. So yeah, we came up with a game plan. You know, this is what we're going to do in these family gatherings when he is around. And I don't care what the law says, I will protect you. And the complicated part is like as adults, right? We have to, you know, like sex and intimacy should be a typical part of our lives. And there's this perspective also pagdating sa yung body image natin and femininity and things like that, diba? So how do you reconcile that with a terrible experience that it's really typical for sexual abuse survivors to feel out of control about their body. It's typical for them to feel dirty and about their body, right? Like they feel that they're not worthy of support or love or admiration. Diba? So that is very complicated to unpack, and until you know it, it could follow you for a long time.
Yeah, and okay, yung sinasabi mo, no, your now husband he was very informed about, you know, dito sa Canada ganito yan, ito ang parusa dyan, etc., etc. Which highlights kasi, you know how it is a Filipino culture, yan ang hindi, in recent years, of course, we'd say, dumami yung boses ng mga mental health advocates. But then, there are still many in the Filipino community, lalo na yung mas mga nakakatanda, no, na who simply choose to dismiss to the point of invalidating or belittling the experiences of sexual abuse victims. Halimbawa, sa mga bata, no, parang, hindi, naglalaro lang to mga batang to, hindi, bahagi lang ng mga trip ng mga bata. Yun yung mga ganun ba? Do you feel that, you know, the Filipino community, even here in Canada, may ganun pa ding mindset?
I think so. And it's really interesting kasi I've contacted a few folks within our community. Sometimes there's someone who I know that may parang online newspaper sila or whatever, and I'm like, can I talk about this? And they said no, it's too sensitive.
Yeah, from what you've said, I sense na isa sa pinakamahalaga for those with dealing with trauma is finding someone to talk to, and that someone or these people to believe you, no? So can you tell us about the help that you finally got here in Canada, and why did it take you 10 years?
Yeah, we just decided to like move on with our lives because I think when it comes to how trauma like para siyang mabigat sa puso, like I think nung first na din-disclose ko back in 2007, medyo gumaan ng konti. And then nung shinare ko kay husband, mas gumaan lalo. So I was able to just like move on with my life or whatever until 2016 happened, right? It's really interesting how you know, very
the Me Too movement.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And yung comments about being blasé about violating women, right? It's if you're a president of a very powerful country and you say things like that, like it will affect a lot of people. And I saw it, right? And so doon ko siya shinare sa boss ko, and then she's the one who suggested. She's Canadian also, so she said like, oh yeah, you know, there are like free resources for mental health over here. There's this free over here. You can have a look. So doon ako nag-research, pero syempre medyo reluctant ako as I really need to do it step by step kasi I know in Canada, we say that we have free healthcare, but it's not complete, right? So, for instance, dental, kailangan mong bayaran. And eye care, kailangan mong bayaran. And from what I have researched at the time, psychiatric support, kailangan mo ring bayaran.
So medyo, so ano yung free?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was confused at the time. Then eventually, I found out that certain non-profit organizations tried to bridge that gap and provide free mental health supports. Syempre, because they are non-profit, medyo high ang demand. So na waitlist ako, but the moment that it was my turn to get the ongoing support, the rest is history. Dozens of appointments over 7 months. I think if I calculate yung typical na hourly appointment ng psychiatrist is usually $200 an hour per session. And I think I ended up getting about over $4,000 market rate of mental health supports na, I don't have that extra money back in 2017, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay. And of course, hindi lang po ito assistance for, you know, sexual abuse survivors. This covers any type of, traumatizing event or any type of mental health related assistance that you might need. Right, Giselle, tama ba?
Na-clarify kasi yung specific organization na pinuntahan ko, very specialized actually. It's only for sexual abuse survivors. So that's really interesting. Pero, ever since then, I started to discover there are more and more types of organizations. So it really comes down to, doing a bit of online research. So for instance, in my case, I'm going to name the organization because they're amazing. And if you can support them, that would be great. It's the Sexual Assault Center of Edmonton. So that's where I ended up getting help. And there are other resources. I'm just going to use Edmonton specific context po, pero for our viewers, you can do your own research. There is another organization here called the Family Center. They have both subsidized and free mental health supports depending on what you need. The Zebra Child and Family Supports, they specifically help little children who are sexual abuse survivors. And then may mga malalaking non-profit organization like the Newcomer Center, Catholic Social Services. One of their programs is mental health support. So some of them are independent, some of them are a department of an organization. There's a wide variety, which is fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So again, please do your own research. Meron at meron po yan. Kasi marami talaga, no, Giselle, na we'll just try to let it be. Sige, over time, I will be healed. Pero halimbawa, can you share with us yung personal experience mo? How big of a help was it? You know, having someone to talk to and yung healing na binabanggit mo sa akin kanina.
Yeah, yung mga appointments ko with the therapist that I had, it was really helpful kasi minsan pag sinasabi natin yung mga trauma natin sa mga relatives natin, they can be a helpful listening ear, pero wala sila yung professional training. So with my appointments during the therapy, she was able to give both, you know, like an opportunity to listen, an opportunity to believe me without judging. Kasi di niya ako kilala personally. That can actually be a big positive in these very sensitive conversations. And then yung medical context. So there was an appointment, binigyan niya ako illustration ng brain, you know, like this is how trauma works, you know, this part of your brain gets reactivated intensely, even though the threat is not there. And sometimes it, you know, when you're doing something simple, you get re-triggered because this is not addressed yet. Yung analogy na sinabi niya, yung parang kumukulong like kettle ng tubig na or maybe even a pressure cooker. You need to let the steam out. and then you'll be able to, you know, move forward with it. Parang ganun yung analogy niya. And then in the successive appointments, nagpa-practice kami. So, you know, in this situation, think of a scenario. How would you address? Oh, tell me what you're feeling. Tell me how intensely you're feeling. Let's do some exercises to regulate your emotions. Ganyan, ganyan. It's a safe environment with a professional.
Well, I just have one more question for you.
Yes.
Kasi you mentioned to me earlier now, you've you've been working on healing, 'di ba? But in terms of seeking accountability, you know, para dun sa gumawa ng sa'yo para doon sa nag-cause ng trauma sa iyo. Do you still long for that? Do you feel that he's not been made accountable?
I do know he is not made accountable, which is frustrating. And I think that's why yung mga discussions ko rin with the, you know, socially conscious community dito sa Edmonton, we sometimes talk about legal topics, right? You know, kasi minsan tromang mag-report sa police or, you know, during the investigation and cross-examination during court trials and stuff like that. And thankfully, there are some lawyers and people in the legal community that are slowly trying to make that process better. In my case, Canada is my home and Edmonton is my permanent home base. So that distance is enough for me for now. Maybe it's a mistake that he has already felt remorse about. I don't know, because I'm completely disconnected from him, and which is good for my peace of mind. Pero whatever his healing or reflection journey is, bahala na siya. But yeah, the separation in the distance is enough for me. As long as my relatives in the Philippines keep on respecting my preference to be distant from him, I'll be fine.
All right. Sige. Well, I will pray for your full healing. So thank you so much, Giselle, for sharing your story. You are certainly brave for, you know, telling the whole world or telling our audience about this. Sa mga nangangailangan po ng tulong, mental health support, there are free organizations here in Canada that can give you that. That's it for this episode. I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay? Bye!